All right, guys, how's it going out there? Rooster in Tennessee, roostercb.com. I'm going to talk about this little amp in front of us here. This was a eBay find, and a lot of times I like to do videos on stuff I run across on eBay and see if I got burned or see if I did good on it. And we'll talk about this one a little bit. Skipper by Palomar. This is a base amp, has a switch in the back, does run on 110 volts. Switch in the back turns the power supply on, and then you've got switch up here that turns the actual amplifier section on. Now this one has been pre-tested. It does power up, preamp does work, sideband delay works, and unfortunately we don't have any output out of it. And I did notice when I turned it on that it had a little bit of a slight hum in it. Among the connection back here is a little loose, the SO239. That's not that big a deal. And it is missing a foot off of it. Now, the seller did point out that it was missing a foot, and they said they were unable to fully test it for output. They could just test to see if it powers up. Well, if you power this thing up, you would immediately notice that it had a slight hum in it, a little slight hum or slight buzz. What you would notice next is if you went to touch the amp, is it was hot to the touch. Now, it's not hot enough to burn you just sitting here running, but it was getting hot enough to where, uncomfortably hot. It should not be getting hot at all. It should be room temperature unless you're sitting here talking on it. Now, if it was that warm sitting there talking on it, probably wouldn't think much of it. They don't have a fan on it. It's just all heat sink. So you probably wouldn't think too much of that. But just sitting here running, getting hot is not normal whatsoever. Unfortunately, I checked the output before checking anything else. My mistake there. And I have probably, unfortunately, damaged the transistors in it. So, yes, even I blow stuff up, not paying attention to the signs. I thought, well, I'll hook it up and just see what it'll do anyway. And it did a lot of power with my unit in going into it. It did about 450 watts. Um, and it's a 2-pill 2879, so that was pretty alarming. I'm pretty sure it's a 2-pill 2879. They made another version that was a 4-pill 454, very rare. So most of them have two Toshiba 2879s in it, which I have most likely damaged because it's not doing anything now. It very briefly did some power. So upon that happening, I thought, well, better check and see what kind of voltage is coming out of the power supply. And it does have jacks on the back for you to run a radio if you wanted to. So I just took the multimeter up to that, and well, lo and behold, we've got 24 volts coming out of the amp. So, did I do good on this amp? Did I get burned? I bought it on an as-is deal. I was expecting a little bit better results. Had I called it, had I known the voltage was that high before I'd actually sat here and let it run and keyed my radio up and, tested it for power, probably could have saved the transistors for going out. So that's on my fault. That's my bad on that. As soon as I saw that it was getting warm like this, I should have checked the voltage, and I would have known to immediately turn it off. But I didn't. So what we have here is an amp that probably needs a rectifiers replaced in it, and it's probably going to need 2 transistors in it to be fair. Now, once it's repaired, the voltage, whatever's going on in the power supply section, I said the rectifiers, but it could be something else. Whatever's going on in the power supply section, once that's repaired, it's you can put HG 2879s in it or whatever. But that'll be after it's fixed. So in the meantime, what am I going to do? I'll list it up. If somebody wants to buy it and you want to repair it, that's up to you guys. They are rare little amps. But if somebody's going to have to put some TLC into it and fix it, or it's going to sit here for a while before it does get fixed. So I will list it up. I'll put it up on the website, roostercb.com. Make somebody probably, what I feel like is a fair deal on it. Some people might feel like it's not a fair deal considering you're going to have to fix it. But I am being open with you, and you're not having to take the chance that I did and buy it just as is on eBay and hope for the best, okay? So I'm not leaving that seller a negative feedback. I'll probably leave them a positive. I was going to say, they'll either get a neutral or a positive. I'm pretty lenient on feedback. If it was somebody that sold a bunch of radio stuff, I would probably be a little bit more harsh about it. And they do accept returns, by the way. This seller does accept returns. So, you know, if I really wanted to, I could return this thing. But guys, I'm just not that way. I try to practice what I preach. They had it on there as is, untested. I was the one that took a chance on it. I'm not going to buy something as is untested and hope that it works, and if it doesn't, return it. Okay, that some people do that, and that's just crappy. If you buy something as is, you're buying it as is, and just like I did. So we're gonna roll with the punches. It'll either sit here until it gets fixed, or again, I'll list it up on the website and somebody can buy it, and you guys can put the time into it and get it fixed, and it will be a nice looking little, nice running little amp. They're rare. You don't see these very much. These skippers by Palomar. I think I have only owned like 2 of these. 20 plus years on the radio, and I think I've owned maybe 2 or 3 of these on the base amp. Now I've owned a bunch of the mobiles, but I don't. You just don't see many of these base amps out there. All right, guys, have a good one. More videos to come. Rooster in Tennessee, roostercb.com. Not going to make a killing on this one. We're just going to try to break even on it. Thanks, everybody. See you. Bye.